Welcome. Today's topic takes us back thousands of years to the time when humans first invented writing, one of the most important discoveries in history. We will explore how writing began in Mesopotamia, developed in Egypt, and spread across the ancient world. Imagine living in a world without words. No books, no letters, no records of history. How would you remember who you are, who ruled your city, or what happened yesterday? This was the reality for early humans. But then they discovered writing, and the world changed forever. Our story begins around 3200 BCE, in the bustling city of Uruk in Mesopotamia, what is now modern-day Iraq. Here, humans created the first known writing system, called Cuneiform. This revolutionary invention wasn't born from a desire to write poetry or epic tales. It was born out of pure necessity. As cities grew, merchants and rulers needed a reliable way to keep track of goods, manage trade, and collect taxes. Imagine a Sumerian trader. He needs to know how many sheep he owns, how many barrels of grain he's sending to a neighboring city, or how many jars of oil are in his storeroom. Before writing, this all relied on memory, which could be faulty or disputed. With cuneiform, he could press wedge-shaped marks into a soft clay tablet, creating a permanent, undeniable record. These tablets could be baked, making them as hard as rock and preserving them for thousands of years. Priests used cuneiform to record sacred rituals and offerings to the gods, ensuring traditions were passed down accurately. Kings and rulers could finally write down laws and formal agreements, making sure everyone in the kingdom knew the rules and their responsibilities. Cuneiform started as simple pictograms drawings that represented objects or ideas. A picture of a sheep meant sheep. A drawing of a head with a bowl meant to eat. But over time, these symbols evolved. They became more abstract and phonetic, representing sounds and syllables instead of just objects. This was a massive leap forward. It allowed people to write complex sentences, record personal names, and even compose stories, moving beyond simple lists of goods. Meanwhile, a different but equally magnificent writing system was taking shape along the Nile River in Egypt. The Egyptians developed a beautiful and intricate pictorial script we call hieroglyphs. The ancient Greeks later gave them this name, which means sacred carvings, because they were often found etched into the walls of temples and tombs. Hieroglyphs were deeply tied to religion and power. They were used for religious texts, like the spells and prayers found in the Book of the Dead, which guided souls through the afterlife. They decorated monumental inscriptions on temples and tombs, glorifying the deeds of pharaohs like the great Ramses II. And just like in Mesopotamia, they were used for practical record keeping, from counting crops harvested during the Nile's flood to recording tribute from conquered lands. Hieroglyphs were a clever mix of logograms, pictures representing whole words or ideas, and phonograms, symbols representing sounds. This combination allowed Egyptian scribes to write with incredible detail and nuance. But carving intricate hieroglyphs into stone was a slow process. For everyday writing, the Egyptians developed a much faster cursive form called hieratic. Written with a reed pen on papyrus, hieratic was the script of daily life used for letters, legal documents, and administrative records. As societies grew more complex and interconnected, the need for an even faster and more flexible way to write became urgent. This is where phonetic writing truly came into its own. Instead of using hundreds of symbols for different words or ideas, phonetic systems used a small set of symbols to represent spoken sounds. This was a game changer, especially for trade. Merchants traveling across the ancient world needed a simple way to write down the names of foreign products, people, and places. Phonetic writing made this possible. It also revolutionized literature, as stories and poems could finally be written down exactly as they were spoken. The true breakthrough came from a group of master sailors and traders, the Phoenicians. Sailing from their home in the Levant, modern-day Lebanon, they created the world's first true alphabet. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, it was the Phoenicians who introduced this revolutionary system to the Greeks. This alphabet was purely phonetic, with each letter representing a specific consonant sound. It was simple, efficient, and easy to learn. Suddenly, literacy was no longer the exclusive domain of highly trained scribes. The Greeks adopted the Phoenician alphabet and made a crucial addition. They introduced letters for vowel sounds. This made the script even more precise and versatile. The Romans, in turn, adapted the Greek alphabet to create the Latin alphabet, the very same system that forms the basis of English and many other modern languages we use today. Every time you type a text or write an email, you are using a technology with roots stretching back to the ancient Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans. Of course, writing systems were useless without something to write on. So humans had to invent writing materials as well. In Mesopotamia, they used abundant clay to form tablets for cuneiform. In Egypt, they masterfully engineered papyrus. By cutting the papyrus plant into strips, pressing them together, and drying them, they created smooth, lightweight sheets. These sheets could be rolled into scrolls, making knowledge portable. A scroll could be carried from one city to another, allowing information to travel across vast distances. Papyrus was so valuable that it became a major trade item, spreading Egyptian writing technology throughout the Mediterranean. Later, materials like parchment, made from animal skin, and eventually paper, would be developed, each new invention making writing easier and more accessible. The development of writing fundamentally transformed human civilization. With written laws, like the famous Code of Hammurabi in Babylon, societies became more organized and just. People knew their rights and obligations. Writing revolutionized trade and the economy, allowing merchants to manage complex transactions and governments to build sophisticated tax systems. Science and knowledge could now be accumulated and built upon. Astronomical observations, medical knowledge, and mathematical formulas were recorded for future generations to study and improve. And perhaps most importantly, writing gave us literature and history. Epic stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature, could be written down, preserving the myths, beliefs, and cultural memory of a people. Writing allowed knowledge to flow from Sumer to Egypt, and then to the Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans. This network of shared information helped connect civilizations and preserve human achievements across the centuries. Without writing, the history of the first cities, the wisdom of ancient scholars, and the laws that governed daily life would have been lost to time. Writing was so much more than just symbols on clay or papyrus. It was a bridge between generations. It was the technology that allowed knowledge, culture, and human achievement to survive the relentless passage of time. Today, when archaeologists unearth an ancient tablet or scholars decipher a worn-out scroll, we are doing something incredible. We are peering directly into the minds of people who lived thousands of years ago, understanding their world, their ideas, and their dreams. Writing gave humanity a voice that continues to echo across the millennia. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the origins of writing and the first civilizations, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from history's most fascinating moments. See you next time.